Live from the CBS Bay Area studios, this is KPIX 5 News.
Calls of discrimination as California's ban on indoor church services are rejected. The late-night ruling from the Supreme Court. What does it mean for indoor worship now? Denying access, President Biden's concern, over security briefings and the real reason why he believes Donald Trump should not access classified information.
What value is giving him an intelligence briefing? What impact does he have at all?
Super Bowl fever. How to celebrate and enjoy the game in the Bay Area, but still keep COVID safe. Why health experts are concerned there could be a new spike. Good morning. It is Saturday, February 5th. I'm Emily Turner. Let's start this morning with a check of our weather with meteorologist Darren Peck.
It is staying sunny and warm for much of this weekend. That's probably the headline in the forecast that gets us through today and tomorrow. There is going to be a little bit of an onshore flow that returns Monday, but more on that as we get to the work week. It's good. It's only going to mean a few more clouds in the morning in the Bay. That's about it. And there is a small chance for light rain coming back by later in the week, but it doesn't look all that impressive. That's your view from the top of the Mark Hopkins Hotel. Not a cloud out there looking out towards the Salesforce Tower, and the scene from the top of the Salesforce Tower shows us it is a clear morning. Same story here in San Jose. Similar story here. That is the Tri-Valley. And the numbers, everybody in the 40s except some of those inland valleys. Santa Rosa, it's 34. And Concord's 39. It's cold enough with that 34 in Santa Rosa, by the way. Visibility's down to a mile up in the North Bay. You can see that would be our one area up here where we've got an issue with fog. So just be aware of that. If you're going to be out on the road up in Sonoma County, there are your daytime highs. Near 70 inland, actually, and it'll be 59 near the coast. We'll reverse those numbers next time I see you. For now, Emily, back over to you.
Late last night, the U.S. Supreme Court partially overturned California's ban on indoor church services during the pandemic, ruling that the state can limit religious gatherings to 25% of buildings' capacity, but not ban them outright. The court did uphold California's rules against singing and chanting, though, at religious services. And new this morning, the police union in Vallejo is sounding the alarm about what it says is a staffing crisis, with less than 100 fully trained officers available. The Vallejo Police Officers Association says the city now has 93 officers, the lowest number in years. It says the police chief and city leaders are focused too narrowly on hiring new trainees rather than finding officers with experience from other jurisdictions. In fact, a letter says, in part, the VPOA wants to provide the best possible police services to the city of Vallejo, protect the members of our community, and ensure the safety of our officers, all of which are severely inhibited by this staffing crisis. Taking a live look out now to Capitol Hill. Congressional Democrats are moving forward with a plan to bypass Republican support for President Biden's nearly $2 trillion COVID relief plan. As CBS's Natalie Brand reports, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she wants the final bill passed within 2 weeks.
President Biden signaled Friday he's willing to go it alone without Republican support to get his $1.9 trillion COVID relief plan passed.
I'm going to act. I'm going to act fast.
Referencing the latest jobs report, the president says the economy is still in trouble and argues the counterproposal offered by Senate Republicans doesn't go far enough at about a third of the price of the president's plan.
We're being asked to spend another $1.9 trillion to deal with the coronavirus pandemic, and yet we have no idea how much of the $900 billion that we just enacted 5.5 weeks ago has gone out the door.
Middle-class folks need help. But you don't need to get any help to someone making $300,000 or $250,000.
In his first television interview since being sworn in, the president tells CBS Evening News anchor Norah O'Donnell that he's willing to compromise on who receives $1,400 stimulus checks and on his plan for a $15 minimum wage.
I'm prepared, as President of the United States, on a separate negotiation on minimum wage to work my way up from what it is now.
Meanwhile, the administration continues its push to ramp up vaccinations. In New York, the legendary Yankee Stadium has turned into a mass vaccination site that will serve Bronx residents only.
The Bronx has been disproportionately affected by the pandemic, and so we have to go where the need is.
And And heading into Super Bowl Sunday, federal health officials are urging Americans to avoid parties.
There will be no loitering on Bourbon Street.
The mayor of New Orleans is ordering bars closed citywide starting next Friday through Mardi Gras Day on February 16th. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
In that same interview with Norah O'Donnell, President Biden cites concerns over Donald Trump's access to classified information.
Should former President Trump still receive intelligence briefings?
I think not.
Why not?
Because of his erratic behavior unrelated to the insurrection.
I mean, you've called him an existential threat. You've called him dangerous. You've called him reckless.
Yeah, I have, and I believe it.
What's your worst fear if he continues to get these intelligence briefings?
I'd rather not speculate out loud. I just think that there is no need for him to have that intelligence briefing. What value is giving him an intelligence briefing? What impact does he have at all, other than the fact he might slip and say something?
You can watch that full interview with CBS's Norah O'Donnell tomorrow ahead of the Super Bowl. Looking live now to San Francisco this morning, we're learning the parolee arrested in a crash which killed a young father had been arrested numerous times in the months leading up to Wednesday's tragedy. The collision near Lake Merced claimed the life of a 26-year-old who had moved to the Bay Area just days ago. KPIX 5's Andrea Borba on why the suspect was still on the streets despite his lengthy arrest record.
26-year-old Sharia Musaka was the pedestrian killed in an 8-car crash on Lake Merced Boulevard. Sharia, a Kenyan immigrant and Dartmouth graduate, his wife and their young son had just moved to the Bay Area. Police say the suspect in Sharia's death, Jerry Lyons of San Francisco, was driving a 2003 Ford Explorer stolen out of San Jose. Lyons was also arrested back in December 2020 by the CHP for misdemeanor DUI, driving a stolen car and driving without a license. After his release in April from state prison on a grand theft charge, Lyons was arrested at least 7 other times, 6 of those in San Mateo County, all misdemeanor offenses.
He has not been to court on any of them. My office has charged each one of them. They're separate cases. They're in the system. And he has appearance dates because on misdemeanors during the pandemic, nobody's getting booked into the jail.
Until a few years ago, any parolee who committed an offense would be sent back to state prison. Under current criminal justice reform guidelines, parolees who commit nonviolent offenses or misdemeanors are sent to county jail, but that's not happening because of the pandemic.
It's supposed to be with the same goal, the same idea of supervising, monitoring, drug testing, if that's what's called for, and keeping an eye on them.
Andrea Borba, KPIX 5.
An update on the attacks in Oakland. 2 actors are pitching in now to help find the suspect who assaulted an elderly man in Oakland's Chinatown. This video of a 91-year-old man being shoved to the ground has the local Asian community on high alert. Actors Daniel Dae Kim and Daniel Wu are teaming up with a Metropolitan Bank to offer a $30,000 reward for any information leading to a suspect's arrest. Mayor Libby Schaaf is expected to speak out about this string of attacks against the Asian community on Monday.
There's a tendency not to report these things because we think that nothing will get done about it, but we need to report these things. It needs to be known.
If my daughter didn't come out with me today, I would be scared to come to Chinatown.
A live look now at the Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay, Florida. Football fever is rising high with a game between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Kansas City Chiefs kicking off tomorrow. In parts of the Bay Area, restaurants will have large outdoor seating areas like these in Walnut Creek for people who want to watch the game. Many fans say that they're changing their plans up this year, though, compared to a normal Super Bowl Sunday.
It's disappointing because we did want to go to Las Vegas. We usually go there, but I really want to be careful.
The excitement is still there, except for I don't get to bet my squares where you normally go to like a Super Bowl party.
It's like another holiday. It's basically a holiday. So, you know, this year it's going to be a challenge.
Health experts are concerned that after having a few drinks, people actually could let their guard down, leading to another spike in COVID cases.
We want to make sure that this Super Bowl does not become that next big.
Outdoor TVs will be allowed in Contra Costa County, despite the possibility of enthusiastic fans yelling during the game. You can watch the Super Bowl right here on KPIX 5. Our coverage starts at 11. Kickoff is at 3:30. And after the game, catch the premiere of The Equalizer. And then a special edition of KPIX 5 News at 8.